just cancel your other 2 loads and come here tomorrow. Like, no, because that you're asking me to be the guy that you guys put on carrier 401 so quickly, the guys that you shame. Like, now you want me to catch 2 other freight cars to avoid yours. I think that's unethical, if anything, man. But how we solve the problem in avoiding a freight guard. Man, this is a pretty interesting topic. So let me paint you the scenario. We actually booked the load, delivering about 100 miles away or so. New customer to the broker. So obviously they want to impress and do things right. However, they did mess up, and we had an appointment for a 2 o'clock delivery. We even showed up on time, just like, just how we do. We were even early. However, they were way off because their shipping and receiving closes completely at 11. Now, they wanted us to stay there and actually wait for next day, which is not going to happen. We already have our guy pre-booked actually for the next 2 days. Another option was to leave the trailer. So, okay. And go back another day for the trailer. But the kicker was their best idea was when we go back, that's when we would get live unloaded. So that's not going to work either. So that's just like prolonging the situation. And so the video is about like how to solve this problem, how to keep your cool, how to stay rational, because this can go really bad really fast if both parties become irrational.
And I've seen that happening so many times, and sometimes it can go totally off the rails, and sometimes you just need to get across to the reasonable individual, and then all the problems are solved. So in this case, I think the truck arrived on time, actually earlier, so we did everything that we agreed on doing.
Absolutely, yeah.
So now, just because somebody between the broker and the receiver, something happened. Somebody got the timing wrong. Somebody got something wrong. That should never land on the shoulders of the driver. Unfortunately, the driver is still gonna be involved there no matter what, because at the end of the day, that is the driver, the owner operator, who's gonna actually suffer through this. But that should not be on a driver's expense. That should be whoever created that situation needs to be able to take care of that situation.
Yeah, and I think this is not even, it's about compensating for the guy that's losing the most at this point, right? It's going to be this driver, and finding that resolution through good business practice. Like, I mean, I think something this simple could be talked through, but when that broker gets his emotions and his emotional intelligence is very limited, and now he becomes irrational because he's hyperventilating that the customer's blowing up the phone on the other end. He just wants this thing to go away. And, then to start to throw the word freight guard around is problematic, because like if now a carrier responds the same way by yelling and screaming, man, can that get out of control, because we all know how carrier 411 works, and that's going to get uglier. Luckily, we were able to talk to his manager, just like you said, like talk to another person who may be the voice of reason to come to a resolution. Like, I get this business is opportunistic, but at the same time, no one here is looking to cause more damage and be irrational and hold the load hostage, right? You don't want to do that. That's not going to end well. But just find a solution that you're going to be that the owner operator is going to get compensated fairly enough for what's in it. We're in it. Nobody has to be here. Nobody planned this. We're in it. How the hell do we get out of this shit?
Yeah, so I think a couple of things that's very important in those type of situations. If you're ever in it, you want to make it abundantly clear that you're not talking about holding load hostage. You're not talking about none of that shit. And that can be misunderstood very, very quickly. Again, like you take some dumbass on the brokerage end, and he's gonna say that, your unwillingness or your actually reasonable approach. Like, look, man, I got other loads to do. So we're there on time. So if you do not have a solution to get us empty right now, we're gonna take that trailer to our drop lot. We're gonna do the loads that we already committed to, and then the next available window for delivery is Friday. And see if you can work it out with your customer. And at the same time, because we did everything it's not like we were late for a delivery.
Right, yeah.
Now there is going to be you got to pay for redelivery. That's all it is. Simple as that.
And that's it.
But I think the guy, the little guy, at the brokerage was probably
The guy that shit the bed.
yeah, he probably shit the bed, and he probably wasn't even communicating accurately to his management, and all that situation just got out of control for 5 minutes.
You know, man, like that's not the first time second time where we even get they suggest to us, just cancel your other 2 loads and come here tomorrow. Like, no, because that you're asking me to be the guy that you guys put on carrier 401 so quickly, the guys that you shame. Like, now you want me to catch 2 other freight cars to avoid yours. I think that's unethical, if anything, man. But
Holy crap, is this real? $4,000 a week in this market, guys? This is not a joke. We got plenty of owner-operators in this market taking home $4,000 a week every single week. So if you're interested in something like this, we're located right here in Mulberry, Florida, just a few miles south of Lakeland. Give us a call, 863-342-5171, because $4,000 take home after all the expenses, that's nothing to laugh at. Yeah,
but what it is, man.
Nobody wants to see that. Everybody, 411, that's a whole other story of bullshit in the trucking industry. It's a real risk, especially for somebody newer in business, because let's say if we would catch a freight guard, would it hurt? Yeah, for about a week we would miss a few loads. In about a month we would probably rarely hear about it, but for a little bit we would probably lose a few opportunities.
Yeah, and everybody loses something at their capacity level, right? So imagine this was just a 1-truck army, 1 guy, 1 trailer. That's everything, whatever it is, wifey dispatching him from the house or whatever the situation is. Man, he's caught up. He's losing days to stay there to get unloaded for the next day and having to give up his pre-books.
Yeah. And as a matter of fact, I don't want to take this video to a totally different topic to where we're talking about freight guard, but man, a lot of times the homework that the broker or the shipper don't do eventually can land on your shoulders as a carrier, as a driver, as an owner operator, and it can go either way. We had a situation again a while back where the actual driver got killed in the accident on the way to the delivery.
Yeah, and the broker was like, man.
And the broker for the next pickup that was scheduled for that driver reported us to a freight guard for not going. I guess we had to cancel the pickup. Just a few hours before the pickup. But that's when the accident happened. That's when everything happened. That's when we no longer have a driver, sir.
Yeah, it just live, we were giving it real time, real fast, and still not good enough. So
yeah, so I think again, for some guy who only does 1 truck, 1 trailer type of deal, he would be stuck, because in our case, the driver was able to bring it here, grab an empty trailer, and carry on business as usual with a little turbulence. But imagine, if you just have 1 truck, 1 trailer, and now we're not gonna take you. You're pretty much out of options.
Yep.
So the only thing that you can do at that point in time, at least get paid. Don't do it for free. Don't let their mistakes to cost you, because I think way too many carriers, especially new ones, are just gonna allow that to happen.
Yeah, so I guess the moral of this story is, guys, keep your cool, stay calm, look at the opportunities you have to get out of your situation. Of course, it's not ideal, but you have way more to lose than they do at that point.
Remember, whatever you do, you gotta sound like a most reasonable person in the room. And then if it has to escalate and you have to go to the management or the little shit there on the phone, at the end of the day, you're gonna sound like the most reasonable person, and then it's easier to get stuff done your way.
All right, it's 863-342-5171. In the event you got any kind of questions, we're here.
Take care, guys.
Be safe.